There are many benefits of building an MVP, and in fact, at this point, I think most people see it as essential for any software company to test their theses via a minimally viable product. The benefits include the fact that you won't have to spend significant amounts of money until you know that there is a market for them. The fact that it'll be validating theses that are core to your company and eliminating the risks associated with the uncertainty that inevitably surrounds a small startup. It's perfecting the concept of building a company before you actually have to build the company itself. I would start offline with most MVPs, or at least throw up a landing page and do the rest of your research offline, because that's where you get to actually interact with people. That's where you get the real world experience, and it's also cheaper in the sense that your labor doesn't cost you anything. So put the effort in upfront yourself, get into the game, and for instance in Eric Ries's grocery store model, get out there and start selling people items to test whether or not what you're selling and the way you're selling it matters in the real world, whether people actually want it, and then go online and start building a complex technical tool that'll replicate or automate the process that you were doing that took more work up front. A/B testing is really fundamental to MVPs in general because it allows you to validate cheaply and quickly. It's a great example of how software and the internet have basically sped up the process of interacting with customers to test your theses. Amazon, eBay are also particularly good examples in that if you go to Amazon's site, you'll frequently see a book in one place, and then if you go back an hour later, it'll be in a different place because they're testing where it works best in terms of sales. And the same should be true of your product. Build a button in red, then build it in green, and have different people interacting with it. In fact, there's lots of tools online that allow them to interact with it at the same time, and as a result, you'll get solid metrics, solid data on what people's preferences are. Customers are cheap not because the individuals are cheap, but rather because the idea these days is to test on as many people as possible, and the cost of doing so is very, very small. It doesn't cost a lot to put a website up and to have a lot of people click on the website or look at it, and it's also really cheap to have individuals interact with that website, even to purchase sort of small items or to donate on Kickstarter. So the idea is don't worry about losing the first 10 or even first 100 customers, but rather get your idea out there, alienate a few, and learn from that process so that you can eventually put the money into building the right product for the majority of people.